Hey y'all, hey, it's Anne Marie, and this is the Anti-HR. I've gotten a lot of really great response to the last video where I talked a little bit about my thoughts about the recent comments about Pharrell Williams, and a couple people in the comments asked me to expound a little bit more about Black rich people syndrome. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about my thoughts about Black rich people syndrome, exactly what I mean when I say that, what it is, how it shows up, and why I think it matters, especially right now. Here's the thing. Some Black people genuinely believe, I think, that if they get rich enough, if they climb high enough, if they collect enough zeros in their bank accounts, that they can somehow buy their way out of Blackness. They believe that if they reach a high enough tax bracket and rub shoulders with enough wealthy white people, the ones who smile in their faces and make them feel welcome, that they can actually belong. But it's simply not true. Just ask O.J. Simpson. Just ask Bill Cosby. Just ask Diddy. It's not true. It never has been. Just ask anybody who thought that proximity to power and having money would give them the same protection white people get, who thought they could mirror the same disgusting, depraved, illegal, reckless, and otherwise problematic behavior and get a pass because of how much money they have. People who thought they could do things they saw white people doing and assumed they'd get away with it too. Because at the end of the day, when the chips are down and when the fall from grace comes, and it always does, you will fall alone. So let's talk a little bit about where this usually starts. And let me say something else, because this is very important. When a Black person first starts making significant money, real money, usually, not in every case, but usually, especially when they don't come from money, and I'm talking about people that don't come from money, the very first instinct is usually the same. You want to take care of your family. You want to take care of your people. You want to bring them along. Because most of us are only one generation removed from poverty. Yes, there's a small number of Black people who have money and come from money, but we're not talking about them, right? And a lot of this behavior is also exemplified by those people, but that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Black people who come from usually poor or middle class backgrounds and come into money. So, as I said, you recognize when you come from that kind of background that you are one generation removed usually from poverty, one tragedy away from struggle, one bad month away from desperation. So at first, the mindset is survival and uplift, right? How do I make sure my mama's good? How do I make sure my siblings are good? How do I make sure my close friends are good? My kids are good? How do I make sure my community is good? But then, when you cross a certain financial threshold, the mentality shifts. It becomes more, how do I keep this money? And how do I make as much more of it as possible? How do I protect my wealth? How do I make sure it never goes away? And that is where the white money managers come in, especially when you're dealing with celebrities. Because let's be real, most wealthy Black people are not having their money managed and their wealth managed by other Black people. Even though there are highly trained, highly qualified Black people who are financial managers, wealth managers, the majority of them do not hire those people to manage their money. They get sold the idea, sometimes subtly, sometimes directly, that white people are better at managing wealth, that old money knows best, that their people have the expertise. And before long, large chunks of that Black wealth is flowing into white pockets. Their career decisions are guided by white handlers. Their access is controlled by white gatekeepers. Their rooms are curated by white PR teams and white financiers and white power brokers. And because money and influence shape your worldview, they start being deeply influenced by the very people who have no connection to their community, their identity, or their lived experience. This is where the grounding starts to slip. Not all at once, slowly, quietly, incrementally. Until one day they wake up and all the voices advising them, protecting them, or so they believe, and directing them, none of those voices look like them, or very few of them are. And that's the beginning, in my opinion, of the syndrome. The $100 million threshold, in my opinion, is usually when this begins. Then something else happens, and you can watch it in real time when some Black celebrities hit around 100 million. Their thinking shifts again. That can often be the threshold where some folks start believing they've transcended Blackness altogether, where they start losing their damn minds. They start losing their grounding and their connection to who they are and their community, where they believe that they can operate just like the white wealthy people, that they can engage in the same behavior, the same excesses, and have the same protection. But as we all know, the system does not see them as equal, and it never has, and it never will. Then you have the folks who've been rich for so long that they truly believe they are exempt. Oprah Winfrey moves like that to me. She has been insulated for decades. Insulated by wealth, by white proximity, by access. And she behaves like someone who believes they have transcended race. But she hasn't. No one does. And then let's talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z. Their money puts them into the billionaire social class. A class that has far more in common with Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner than with any of us. So that is why when I saw them at that fundraiser sitting at the same table with the Kushners, I wasn't surprised. And I found it amusing that people were so upset. I also wasn't surprised to see them at Kris Jenner's birthday party. A woman who has pimped her daughters, cosplays Blackness, steals from our culture, and monetizes and appropriates it at every turn. Her and her entire family. I said what I said. But the reality is they have more in common with those people than they do with me or you, because those are the rooms they prioritize now. Does that mean they don't care about Black people? I don't think so. But I also don't think they're going to choose Black people over their bank accounts. I mean, let's keep it a buck. If you think about how Jay-Z went and signed an agreement with the NFL right in the middle of what was going on with Colin Kaepernick and basically sidelined Colin Kaepernick. And now, of course, he gets to decide who does the halftime shows for the NFL every year. And that's great for him. But how does that really benefit Black people? I'm just saying. I'm just asking the question. So like I'm saying, I don't think this means that these people don't care about Black people and don't care about their community and that they're not doing good things in their community. But do I think they're going to sacrifice their wealth or their relationships or their connections? No, I don't. I don't think they relate to Blackness the same way as we do anymore. To them, it's a garment they get to put on and take off depending on the setting. The rest of us don't get to do that. And then let's talk about Tyler Perry. Because yes, some Black celebrities are rich enough to create temporary, at least, insulation. Look how long it took for people to take seriously R. Kelly's shenanigans. And then look at Tyler Perry. That whole scandal has just evaporated. Silence, disappeared. And there's a white man that raised these concerns about him. A white gay man, yes, but still. Because money buys silence. Money buys protection. Money buys nothing to see here. But let me be very clear. That protection is conditional. It lasts only as long as the people above you allow it to last. And as the people above him allow it to last. If he ever pisses off the right people, all these things are going to come up again. And they will likely bring him to his knees. And his billions will not save him. Remember, even Jeffrey Epstein got eventually. Even he was eventually brought low and brought all the way down. So, lest there be any confusion, let me define it plainly. Black rich people syndrome is what happens when Black people accumulate extreme wealth, usually in my estimation, when they hit around the $100 million mark or more, and begin to believe that their money has freed them from the consequences and realities of Blackness. They believe they can buy their way out of it. They believe they can turn it on and off like a knob on a 1970s television. They believe the rules don't apply to them anymore. But they do. They always do. Your money may allow you to postpone the consequences of Blackness, but you can't outrun it. Not Pharrell, not Puffy, not Cosby, not Oprah, not Tyler Perry, not Beyonce, not Jay-Z, not anybody. There's no amount of money that can buy your way out of being Black in the United States of America. Because at the end of the day, you cannot buy your way out of Blackness. You can only delay the moment when the world reminds you of it. If you found this commentary helpful or enlightening, please take a moment and hit the button. Please take a moment and hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel and please comment, but do so constructively. Don't forget to follow me on social media and do subscribe to my website. This is Anne Marie. This is the Anti-HR. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.